Hello, hello, hello. How's everybody doing today? Hope that your Wednesday is going fantastic if you're joining us live, and for everybody who's checking out the recording, great to have you here. This is part 3 of how to share your insights with LinkedIn posts being a sales Sherpa for your prospects. I'm D Fish. If we haven't met in the real world, hello. If we have, good to see you again. Holy cow. What's up, Matt Lewis? Good to hear you. Hope that you are doing well. It's hard to be a performer in this time of social distancing. But speaking of great live content, my friend Matt Lewis is an amazing musician, has been sharing a lot on different social media platforms. So check him out. Matt, give you a quick plug there. So everybody, we've been talking this week about how to use LinkedIn for posting more effectively. And today I really want to look at how to craft a good post. Hey, Katie, how are you? Good to have you here. And hey, Tom, good to see you. And by the way, the comment section on LinkedIn Live has started to work, which has been great. So if you have questions, comments, ideas, please share them in the comment section of the live feature. That's kind of why I'm doing these videos live as opposed to pre-recorded, so I can answer questions or so we can get some conversation going. I will say that still I am not able to access the comments afterwards, so I apologize if I have not been able to answer anybody's questions over the past few days. If I haven't, please message me directly. But this week, as I said, we're talking about posting, and very specifically, I've been talking about how to post in a way to position yourself as a sales Sherpa for your prospects and for your clients. And the sales Sherpa term is something that I first shared in Hyper Connected Selling by David J.P. Fisher, published by Rockstar Publishing, available on Amazon. Go check it out. But the whole premise is that people's buying processes, their buying journey is often happening before they engage you as a salesperson. And by the way, you could be a salesperson, you could be a business owner, you could be an entrepreneur, a solopreneur, a freelancer, right? Your job is to sell. And the reality is a lot of that buying journey is now happening in an opaque way, meaning it's happening before the salesperson is ever engaged with. There's a lot of research on that, lots of fun statistics, but just know that there's a lot of this conversation and research happening before they ever decide to give you a call. And so we need to make sure that we're positioned in the minds of our prospects before that buying journey ever happens, so that when they are ready to engage with the salesperson, we're the choice. And so yesterday, for example, we talked about how to consistently curate content and to regularly be on LinkedIn and to be visible, to be top of mind. Today, I want to talk about how to actually craft a post to maximize the opportunity for reach, to maximize the opportunity for more engagement, to get in front of more eyeballs. And as I'm watching through the comments, hey, Adam, good to see you. And I said, Katie, good to see you. Matt, my friend Matt shared the link to his Facebook live stream. And Matt Lewis is probably one of the finest jazz singers and jazz musicians here in Chicago. I know he's actually bouncing around the country right now. And he's awesome. Check him out. When looking at how to craft the post, I want to be very clear up front before we go through these. I don't have the secret to making your posts go viral. I don't have the particular formula for gaming LinkedIn. And the reason why is because there isn't one. And the people who are sharing this with you, there's a couple things. One, most of them are just hustling you in line. They're trying to sell something. They're just saying, hey, I've got the secret to viral posts. And pay me a bunch of money, buy my course, buy that. It's mostly garbage. It's people hustling you, because LinkedIn is not sharing their formula for their algorithm to make sure that your posts show up a lot. And the second thing they're doing is they're putting a mass amount of time and energy into making sure that their posts, get a broader reach. And there's nothing wrong with that. but most of us don't have time. In fact, when I shared the post for this message today, a good friend of mine, Chris Askew, who runs a great podcast called Tag, it's the marketing and sales podcast. He actually responded with a couple things that he thinks are important for crafting a great LinkedIn post. And he's very active on LinkedIn. He's got great reach. And he shared, make sure it's well written, make sure you're spending time on the headline, talk about visuals, all these great things, which are absolutely true, but they take a lot of time and a lot of energy. And again, he's a marketer. He gets this. A lot of us are not marketers and don't have the time, bandwidth, energy, and to be blunt, the expertise and skill set for it. So that being said, I want to talk about a couple ways that you can maximize the opportunity to have your posts be seen by more people, to be seen more broadly. Because while there are no tricks, there are definitely some best practices. And that's what I want to talk about today. 5 best practices that right now will help you make sure that your posts get seen by more people. And as we're going through this, understand what we're working with is, as I mentioned this, or at least intimated it earlier, there is an algorithm that LinkedIn uses to decide what posts get seen on your newsfeed. It's not transparent. We have guesses about how it works, but we don't know for sure because they do, and we need it, because if you have a couple thousand connections, you can't see all of their posts in your newsfeed. It would be cluttered. It'd be Twitter. So what we want to do is, make our posts easily accessible, not only to that algorithm, but also to our network, right? So I call it working the human algorithm and working the LinkedIn SEO algorithm. And I said there's 5 different things. I'm going to try to be crafty and use our platform here to actually share some of these ideas. So again, there's 5 steps to take. And so let's say you've got an article that you want to share. Yesterday we talked about creating an editorial calendar. By the way, if you haven't watched that or weren't here live, it is up on LinkedIn and on YouTube. The link is in the description here. But let's say you've got a great article that you read, you found it interesting, you want to share. So the first thing you do when you share that is don't just post the link. Write 2 or 3 sentences about why this link is important, or why you feel there's some value in sharing it with your network. Provide some insight. On a human level, this allows the reader of your post to know why they should invest more than a brief second. They go, oh, okay, this might apply to me. Oh, this is something that's going to be relevant. It could be as simple as, I wanted to share this article with my network because blank, or it's really interesting to see what effect coronavirus will have on blank in my blank industry. I thought this was very interesting and I wanted to share. So great. And so that's the first thing that you have to do. And Gilbert, thanks for sharing here. Is you saying consistency and uniqueness is key to success. Absolutely. We talked about the editorial calendar yesterday to help with consistency. And uniqueness is, I don't know if it's about being unique, because we're all kind of unique like snowflakes, meaning right up close, we're really unique, but from 6 feet away, we all look kind of the same. So in the world of social distancing, where 6 feet is what we need, we're all going to look a little bit the same. But I do think we can share our perspective, and our perspective is unique for sure because it's coming from us. And that's what we're adding in these 2 or 3 sentences. What it also does is it gives a little more text to the LinkedIn algorithm that they can look through to get information, see if this is worth sharing. But that's the first thing, write 2 or 3 sentences. The second thing we want to do, and I realize I put these completely out of order, so I apologize, is at the bottom, we want to put 2 or 3 hashtags. So in fact, if all you're going to do is add some text and then put a few hashtags, you could write, post an article, 2 or 3 sentences, 2 or 3 hashtags. This is there's some great research done by some of my colleagues in the LinkedIn expert world. You don't have to overload with hashtags. In fact, if you overload with hashtags 5, 6, 7, 8, it actually decreases the reach of your articles. But 2 or 3, super valuable. And that's kind of, and again, this was not research done by me, but by a couple people in my network Andy Foote is one person who's a great follower for the technical nature of LinkedIn. But yeah, it's just 2 or 3 that you need. Don't try to be clever with them either. A lot of times on, for example, Instagram, you saw it a bit on Twitter. There's kind of this this idea of cutesy, humorous tags. They're fun, but they actually don't help you. What you want to do is use tags that other people are going to be able to track and see. That's what we're trying to do. So you'll see a lot of my hashtags: LinkedIn, networking, networking works, sales, sales training, sales coaching. I do use the hashtag Sales Sherpa. Not that I think a lot of people are looking for it, but it helps me go back and be able to find the content that I've written around that topic on various social media platforms. So use 2 to 3 hashtags. Okay, so that could be a good post. 2 or 3 sentences, 2 or 3 hashtags. How do we take it up a notch? Well, what we can do is tag 4 to 7 people. And I think this is actually incredibly valuable. And the reason why is we don't know exactly how the LinkedIn algorithm works behind the scenes. What we can see, though, is that articles that get engagement early do have a broader reach. So if you can get people to comment or to like your posts, you're going to see a much higher impact as far as the reach of that particular piece of content is. So what does that mean? You can either just hope people stumble upon it, or you can highlight this piece of content for a few people in your network. Now I'm saying 4 to 7, maybe go up to 10, depending on the size of your network and exactly what you're posting. Don't go beyond that. Because then you start to get obnoxious. And we saw this for a little while where people are just like posting 50 people in their network, trying to get any engagement. And it actually kind of backfired because it looks crappy and you get these random people tagging you who you just kind of know. Don't do that. 3 to 7, I think, is a very good place. There's 2 ways I feel that you can post or tag somebody in your post. One is within the body of the content you're sharing. So if it's an article, going back to the idea of an article, that you think is relevant specifically to some prospects or customers, tag them. Say, hey, Bill, this is Bill, and that Bill is the tag. This is similar to what we talked about last week. Or, hey, hey, Lisa, this is something that could help at your company too. Or, hi, Jim and Denise, this is a great example of how our service can help in your industry. So that is one way to tag right within the copy of your post. The other is just to add people at the end. Sorry, I got a great question. How much would this change if you're business to consumer versus business to business? I don't think it changes a lot. I think that this structure that we're talking about is going to be the same, whether, again, you are business to consumer or business to business. If you're business to consumer, I don't think I would tag your customers as much as I would maybe tag referral partners or other people who are, in your sphere. But in general, I think they're pretty the same. So thanks for asking that question, Tom. The other place, by the way, as I was saying, to have tags is just at the end. You'll have, and you'll see this. I actually do this quite a bit. You'll have a 3, 5, 7, set up to 10 tags. And when they're at the bottom, you either can do no introduction to those people. That should only be done when you're tagging people that at least kind of, or that it's in the very much the pocket. Right? I mean, it's the same, it's information that you still think they'll feel valuable with. I am on LinkedIn consistently, so there's a good handful of people that I can just tag them. They know why I'm tagging them. They know that I'm tagging them because I think this is going to be interesting to them. I want it to show up in their feed. I think it might be valuable to their networks. They might want to share. Or this is also a great tool, and this is where I think for most salespeople and business owners you can start, is ask a question and then tag people. What do you think? Tag 5 people. Have you found this in your practice? Tag 5 people. what would you suggest doing? Or, do you think this is a good idea? Do you think this is a bad idea? Adam, you looks behind the curtains. I was going to say that. So yes, I do use all of these every day when I'm doing the posts about these LinkedIn Lives because it works. So at least I'm eating my own Wheaties, so to speak. But those tags are going to be really important because then what happens is the people you tagged get a notification. They then can go and look at the content and sometimes they won't see it till later, or sometimes they won't choose to engage, but a lot of times they will choose to engage. Again, the like, the comment. And what also this does is it lets the LinkedIn algorithm that these people are people that you're connected with, and it's more likely that they'll see your content organically, and vice versa, you'll see theirs. So as a side note, this is a great way to really engage with prospects and clients. Again, I'm not saying just randomly out of nowhere tag a prospective client, but it's a good way if you've maybe had a brief conversation or somebody you just got a chance to know, tag them once or twice so they can start seeing what you're posting. Okay. Number 4, add multimedia. And this could be, if you're just posting an article, a lot of times LinkedIn will actually bring in a thumbnail of the article, right? They'll bring in a picture from the platform that you're posting it from, which is great. But you can always add other multimedia. So adding an image is a very easy way of doing this. Finding even stock photos or just, free stock photos. There's a ton out there. This is great if you're talking, one of the ideas we had yesterday was the idea of posting about conferences or events, posting pictures that were taken there, with permission if there's other people in it, of course. But just this morning, for example, I spoke for an organization here in Chicago, and it was a virtual one, of course. But the organizer of that event then posted afterwards, hey, we just had a great event, and it was actually a screen capture of the Zoom call and had a bunch of people that were on the call. He's like, hey, we had a great meeting. What a wonderful post. And now there's, again, that visual to it. This could also be slide share if you want to post something that might be like a PowerPoint deck or any other image you can use, or a video. And that's kind of a whole nother topic, and we'll definitely address that, if not this week, in the next week or two, how to use video effectively. But having that multimedia feature very tactically and tactily, I guess you'd say, or visually, it breaks up the newsfeed, so it makes it easier for people to see your content. And right now, the LinkedIn algorithm does like when people put pictures in their posts. But by the way, you can actually get away with just having content, just copy, just written stuff in your post, and it can be very effective as well. Number 5, this is a bonus. I wouldn't do this all the time. This is more for sharing content that is yours. And so we'll talk about that later in the week when we talk about how and when to share your content, whether it's what stuff you developed or from your marketing team, is to actually put the URL into the comment section versus putting it into the post. Now, this is kind of a little bit of LinkedIn ninja stuff. And it might change. It could actually change dynamically. What we have seen, again, kind of anecdotally, but there's some pretty obvious patterns. When you put a URL that goes to somewhere not in LinkedIn, it doesn't do as well. And that actually makes sense. Not that I like it, but it makes sense because LinkedIn and any free social media platform, the saying goes, if you're not paying for a product, you are the product. And in this case, the product that you are is attention. So LinkedIn, makes money obviously through advertising, through eyeballs. They want you to stay on LinkedIn, not go somewhere else. So not that they completely throttle going out to external URLs, but there's definitely a decrease. And so kind of the workaround is to just say, hey, and you've probably seen this, look in the first comment for the link. Now, we're definitely seeing, I think LinkedIn's algorithm starting to catch on to that. But it's right now the best workaround we have. So that's if you're trying to, again, let's say get somebody to go to your blog, to a YouTube channel, to some other, to an Eventbrite for a registration, for example. And again, this will change. The algorithm is dynamic and fluid, but right now that's kind of said it's a next level thing, but it can be helpful to drive your engagement there. And so those are the 5 ideas I'm going to give you about how to make your content more engaging, both for the human algorithm and the LinkedIn algorithm. I'm not going to promise you that any of this is going to make anything go viral. It will definitely help build the reach. Again, I've done my own internal studies of my stuff, and I know when I do all of these things, the reach is increased. And I think that beyond that, the more you actually do engage with other people's content, the more likely your stuff is to show up. So kind of, I guess, as a number 6 is make sure you're active, make sure you are, engaging with other people's content on LinkedIn. That's just not what we're talking about today, because we're talking about how to post well this week. So that's what I got for you. Tomorrow, if you get a chance to join us, we're actually going to go back to looking at what to post. So yesterday we talked about an editorial calendar. Today we talked about, again, constructing that post. Tomorrow we're really going to look at how do you post your own content as a salesperson, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, where maybe you don't have a lot of time to create that content. So you can look to your marketing team and to what other content they've developed. We're also going to talk about sharing what I call pro-personal information. And that was a term invented by an old colleague of mine, Jason Seiden, who's talked about, before it was cool to talk about the combination of personal and professional in the online world. So pro-personal is, again, personal and professional put together. And there is absolutely a time and a place that you should be posting about more personal or personally oriented topics on LinkedIn. Not all the time. LinkedIn is not Facebook for sure. But if you think about like your offline business interactions, if you went to a conference, a Chamber of Commerce meeting, a networking event, not all the conversation is professional. Sometimes it's, hey, how's your family? Or, just this morning, somebody on that call said we have about 15 people on it. Somebody was like, hey, my daughter got a job. Thanks everybody for all the help as she was in her job search. I mean, is that professional? Is that personal? It's pro-personal. And there's a very there's a lot of ways that you should do that, and obviously shouldn't, but it's a very valuable part of what you can do through LinkedIn. And thank you, as always, for joining us. I know a lot of us are trapped in their house or in their, hey, Chris, how you doing? A lot of us are trapped in their small condo with their wife and their child and the child's caregiver. So it can be a little stressful, but this has been a lot of fun for me. I hope you've gotten some value from it. We are going to go through this week. We're going to keep going, obviously, into next week. If you have found this valuable, please share it with your friends, either the recordings or just tell people in your network that we're going to be doing this every day at 11:30. The more, the merrier. If you have any questions on any of this, feel free to reach out to me, connect with me on LinkedIn. Happy to answer this beyond just what we're doing. For those of you who are small business owners, who are freelancers, solopreneurs, we actually, it has felt like 87 years, Chris. I think I'm up to 94. But I do run a coaching group called the D-Fish Selling Launchpad. We have 2 calls a month, and I'm actually inviting people to join that at no charge for this month. So if you'd like to be with a group of fellow solopreneurs, freelancers, entrepreneurs, small business owners, message me. I'll send you the invite to that. I said the April calls are going to be open at no charge. It's a great group. If you just want to, again, get some support, learn some sales, networking, marketing skills as well, would love to have you for that. And, as we're finishing up, I say this every time, I'm going to keep saying it. Hopefully you don't have to go outside. If you are on this call, most of us are fortunate enough that we can do our work from home. But there's people who are making this country and this world continue to run. They have the same fears that we do, but the truck drivers, the delivery drivers, the people working at the grocery store, the bus drivers, make sure that if you do go out into the world, again, try not to, but if you do, say thank you. Say thank you to the postman or the postwoman who's still doing their job. Again, they have the same fears that you do, but they're making things run. And obviously, if you or anybody you know is in the healthcare profession, make sure you say a big, big thank you to those people trying to fight this insidious affliction that's going around the world right now. And finally, to wrap up, 3 things: be patient, be kind, take care of one another. So thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great day. See you tomorrow, 11:30 Central.